Yo, what is up guys? TheFlawlessWin here today, and today we have a really good RU battle against my good friend Mystical. If you guys want to go ahead and check out his channel, I'll leave a link to it in the description. He is a pretty good battler and a really cool guy. He's a pretty good friend, so if you guys want to check him out, like I said, I have the link to his channel in the description. But yeah, I am using this team I made consisting of a Cut-Stap lead Crustle just to stack up as many hazards as possible, Choice Scarfed Rotom to force switches and rack up entry hazards damage and also gain momentum with the Volt Switch, Choice Banded Spiritomb to spin block and trap Ghosts for my Hitmonlee, which is my sweeper, and then Qwilfish just because it has really good synergy with Cryogonal, which is not my sweeper, my spinner, and I also have toxic spikes on that Qwilfish because I have normal spikes on my Crustle. And yeah, looking at Mike's side, I'm not really scared of anything. I mean, Electivire might be annoying just because I don't have anything to really take hits from it, but it's not that big of a threat. I'm more concerned with his defensive core, which is his Slowking, Tangrowth, and Clefable. That's just going to be a bitch to break through, but other than that, I'm not really scared of anything. So I'm going to lead off with my Crustle, seeing as he does not have a spinner. I just want to stack up as many entry hazards as possible to wear down his team. And he leads off with his Medicham, goes straight for the Drain Punch. Unfortunately, that does not bring me into Cut-Stap range, so I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Spiritomb. And I know I threatened him with the Shadow Sneak and maybe even the Will-O-Wisp if I was carrying that, so I'm pretty sure he's going to want to switch out here, so I go for the Pursuit and get off a massive hit on the Medicham. And I was actually thinking that the Medicham wouldn't be able to live another Stealth Rock switch in, so I kind of dismissed it as dead, which is why I allow my Spiritomb to go to sleep here, because really the only thing on my team that can take hits from Medicham is my Spiritomb, but since I thought it would die off to Stealth Rocks, I didn't really think my Spiritomb had much use, especially since it doesn't have a Rapid Spinner either, so yeah, I let my Spiritomb go to sleep, and I'm going to go ahead and switch out into my Cryogonal here, because I know I can take anything and retaliate with an Ice Beam. I assume he predicts this and switches out into his Medicham, and it actually lives the Stealth Rock entry, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would die. So I knew he wouldn't go for the Drain Punch or the Zen Headbutt, so I go out into my Crustle, knowing I can probably live any coverage move, and get put into Cut-Stap range. But I do get put into Cut-Stap range. The only problem is he goes for the Bullet Punch, and even with the Cut-Stap Berry, I know he still has the priority over me, so I go out into my Qwilfish, but then I remember earlier he switched up moves, so he's not choiced. So I switch out into my Rotom to take a Zen Headbutt, not as well as I thought I'd be able to take it, but I'm still able to take it and knock him out with a Volt Switch, so yeah, that Medicham was actually a lot more of a threat than I thought it'd be, just because I let my Spiritomb go to sleep when I really shouldn't have. I thought it would have died to the rocks, but it didn't, so yeah, that kind of sucks. But now I'm going to go out into my Crustle. I know I will be able to get up a layer of spikes since he doesn't have any other form of priority on his team. And he goes down to his Durant, and I don't really care if this thing sets up Hone Claws because I do have my Qwilfish here, which is pretty much a 100% counter to any Durant. And yeah, this is going to be able, or I'm going to be able to set up a free layer of Toxic Spikes here, as he does bring in the Electivire. And I know he's going to predict my switch out into Rotom because I obviously quad resist his electric type stab. But or so I'm going to switch out into my Spiritomb, expecting the Ice Punch or the Flamethrower. I knew I could take both with relative ease. And now I'm going to double out into my Rotom, expecting the electric type move. What I really should have done, though, is stayed in with my Qwilfish and set up another layer of Toxic Spikes, expecting the Flamethrower or the Ice Punch, because you guys will see later in the battle that 2 layers of Toxic Spikes really would have helped me out in wearing down his defensive core. But yeah, I do take the Thunderbolt really well with my Rotom Cut, or Rotom Mow, I think. Is this Rotom Cut or Rotom Mow? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I take the Thunderbolt really well, and I really wanted to go for the Volt Switch there, expecting him to switch out, but I could not risk him getting a motor drive boost and possibly doing some major damage to my team. So I am kind of forced to go for this safe Leaf Storm. And I get off a nice bit of damage on the Clefable. And right here, I know he's going to set up Stealth Rocks because nothing else on his team carries Stealth Rocks, so I'm pretty sure his Clefable is a Stealth Rocker. And I know I could have gone into Hitmonlee there, expecting him to set up Stealth Rocks, but I wanted to go out into Spiritomb because Hitmonlee, anything like his Tangrowth or his Slowking easily could have switched in on my Hitmonlee, and I really wanted to trick a Choice Band to one of his walls, hopefully it's Clefable with my Spiritomb. But yeah, he switches into his Durant because he knows that it will it won't care if it gets Choice Band, if it gets tricked to Choice Band. So I'm gonna make the obvious switch out into my Quillfish on his Durant. I'm a little bit behind, jeez. So yeah, I make the obvious switch out into my Quillfish. I knew the switch out into his Electivire was really obvious, but I figured after the Intimidate he would go for the special attack, not a physical attack, and after the poison damage and the Life Orb damage, he's going to die off the next turn, and I figured I could take any special attack with my Cryogonal, even a Flamethrower, I could take that. And he goes for the Thunderbolt, and it brings me down to about half after the Leftovers recovery. And yeah, he brings in his Slowking now. I'm going to go ahead and go out into my Spiritomb here. I was kind of scouting what set he was since I knew he'd go for the Psyshock. I figured since he has the Tangrowth and the Clefable, both of which I know are defensive by now, I figured this thing might be offensive, like Choice Specs or something, but I see the Leftovers here, and now I know that he is the defensive set. And right here, I figured he'd just go for Scald, and I really don't want to switch in anything and possibly get burned. And I really, really want to wake up with my Spiritomb and get rid of this thing, because it definitely is holding back my Hitmonlee from sweeping. And right there, I went for the Pursuit, hoping I would wake up, but unfortunately, I do not wake up as he switches out. And if I would have waken up right there, it would have just given my Hitmonlee so much leeway, because then I would have easily been able to take out this, not easily, but this Tangrowth wouldn't have been that hard to take out. It wouldn't have been as much of a problem to my Hitmonlee as that Slowking was, is what I'm trying to say. So right here I figure, okay, hopefully I can live a Giga Drain, wake up, and hit him with a trick to give him the Choice Band. But again, I don't wake up, and instead of going for the Giga Drain, he actually goes for the Leech Seed. So I guess that's fine. And right here, I'm not even sure if I can live a Stealth Rock entry, so I'm just going to sack my Spiritomb and get off a nice bit of damage with the Sucker Punch. So, God, if my Spiritomb would have waken up on either of those turns, it would have been really nice. I could have tricked this thing a Choice Band or killed his Slowking. Either of those things would have been really nice, but unfortunately, Spiritomb is just sleepy as hell, and he's not going to wake up. But, yeah. Now I'm going to bring in my Cryogonal. I know I'm running low on HP, and since I don't have anything asleep, I figure Mike would expect me to, or Mystical. His name's Mike in real life. I figured Mike would expect me to go for the Recover here and just put me to sleep, so, which is why I go for the Ice Beam. So I'm able to get rid of his Tangrowth, which is really, really nice. That's one thing that was holding back my Hitmonlee that is now dead. And now he brings in a Slowking. I know he's defensive, so I know I can take these Psyshocks. Even though Cryogonal does have a really shitty defense stat, I do have some defensive investment, and I know my Recover and Leftovers will bring me, or will give me more health than his Psyshock is taking away. So I'm just gonna kind of try to stall this thing with Toxic right here and just get to a nice amount of health. So instead of going for another Psyshock, Mike makes the smart play and just goes for the Toxic to start wearing me down. And yeah, both my things are Toxics here, so right now I'm just going to go ahead and go for the Rapid Spin to take off a little pressure on my team, or to take some pressure off my team. You know, I'm at a good amount of health, and I really don't care if it goes for the Psyshock, so I just go for the Rapid Spin like I said. And now he brings in his Clefable, and I was really hoping right here he would go for the Stealth Rocks, or maybe even the Wish, just to regenerate some health. But he doesn't, he goes for the Seismic Toss. I was planning to go into my Rotom to trick him a Choice Scarf. That way one of his walls would be crippled, because if I can trick this thing a Choice Scarf, it would be really nice to just cripple it. But unfortunately, it doesn't. I'm not able to trick him a Choice Scarf because he goes for the Seismic Toss. And right here, I go out into my Hitmonlee. I was expecting him to switch out into his Slowking, which is why I went for the Earthquake. And I know Earthquake I know Earthquake does a solid 30% to Slowking, and after the Hazard's damage, I'd put a really nice dent in his Slowking, but he just stays in and lets his Clefable die to an Earthquake followed up by a Close Combat. But now he goes out into his Slowking, and I know there's no way I can OHKO this thing. I don't even think with a crit I can OHKO this thing. So the only thing I have to do here to win is wear this thing down to about 50%, because if I'm able to do that, then I can come in with my Hitmonlee, go for the normal gem boosted Fake Out, and then hopefully bring it down to a range where Earthquake will kill it, because Earthquake does about 30% and normal gem boosted Fake Out does about 20. So yeah, all I'm really trying to do here is wear him down with Pain Split with my Quillfish, and the Psyshock, I'm able to live that with a little bit of health here. And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Waterfall here. I was expecting him to try to slack off to regain a little bit of health. That way, if I would go for the Pain Split next turn, I'd get a lot more health back, and I'd bring him down to a really low amount of HP, but he actually just goes for the Psyshock instead of the slack off, which is really, really nice for me, because now I can pretty much win the game with Hitmonlee, because even after the Regenerator, I figure right here he's just going to switch out into his Durant and sack it, but he actually doesn't. He just sacks this. But if he would have switched out into his Durant and sacked that, then I'm pretty sure Regenerator wouldn't have been able to bring him up to a range where he would have been able to live in Earthquake, because it would have brought him out to about 40%, and after the Stealth Rocks and the Spikes, I would have been able to take him out with Earthquake from that range, but he decides to sack his Slowking instead of his Durant, and I'm adamant, so I cannot outspeed this Durant, and I think it's Choice Scarf too, so there's no way I could outspeed it. So I'm going to have to sack my Cryogonal, come back in with my Hitmonlee, go for the normal gem boosted Fake Out, and do absolutely nothing to this thing. But the reason I have to go for the Fake Out is to activate my Unburden ability, and even though he is Scarfed, Unburden doubles my speed, and I'm going to be able to knock out this Durant with the Close Combat, and that will be the narrow 1-0 victory in my favor. So I hope you guys enjoyed this really good battle. I really had fun with this battle, and yeah, if you guys want to go ahead and check out Mike or Mystical, go ahead and click that link in the description.